Hi, I'm Vidushi, and you are watching Daily News Simplified, an answer to what, why, and how of newspaper analysis from the UPSC perspective. Now, before starting our session, let me wish you all a very happy Holi. May this festival paint your life with success, prosperity, and happiness. So, today we have taken up important articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express, and the Business Line. You can see these articles. So, first discussion we will have on SN 2 state legislation. Second, we'll talk about terrorism. Third, we'll have a discussion on Beima sugam. Then we have our discussion on probity. Then we'll see coal production, important aspects related to coal in India. Then we'll talk about vote from home. And we'll end our discussion or session with Operation Sankalp. So these are the important topics that we have taken today. So let's start our session. First discussion is based on this news article which appeared on page number 5 in the Hindu newspaper. Context is that in an unprecedented move, Kerala government, they filed an appeal in the Supreme Court as President withhold assent for 4 bills passed by the state legislature. And these bills, government withhold it, President withhold it without providing any reason or disclosing any reason. Also, the same government, they moved to court against Kerala governor for keeping the bill pending for a very long and indefinite period of time and reserving the same for the consideration of the president. So these are the issue. Now the question is that why we have taken, because as you can see here, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure is important theme mentioned in your GS paper 2. Now how it is connected? It is connected because Kerala government accused President's office of subverting federal structure. Yes. Another important theme is parliament and state legislature. Now you know that president and governor, they are the key role players in these two institutions. That's how it is important from the UPSC syllabus perspective. Also, UPSC has been asking question based on the same. Like there was a question based on tussle between Lieutenant Governor and elected government of Delhi, which came in year 2018. Another question based on 69th constitutional amendment and its ramifications, which came in year 2016. This theme is not only important from the mains perspective, but also from prelims perspective, as there was a question based on discretionary power given to the governor, which came in year 2014. And there was a question with respect to power, or you can say power of president with respect to bill in parliament, which came in year 2022. So that shows the importance of this topic. Now let's start our discussion. You know that article 200, it gives power to governor with respect to assent to the bill. Okay, and let's quickly recall the process. See, once bill is passed by the legislature of state, or in case of bicameral state, it should be passed by legislative council and legislative assembly. So once it is passed by the state, it is presented to the governor. And these are the options governor is having with respect to the bill. So here governor can give his assent to the bill. First, he may give his assent to the bill. So if he gives his assent to the bill, then it will become act and it will be published in State Gazette. Okay. So this is the first option that governor can avail. Then he may withhold its assent. Yes. And in this scenario, bill ends and does not become an act. Okay. Third scenario is he may return the bill for the consideration of house or houses. Now, if president he passed the bill for the consideration and he requests the state to consider the bill or the specific amendments, then that bill will be passed by state legislature. Yes. And in this case, when this bill is presented in front of governor, now here governor is obliged to give his assent, or he must give his assent to this bill. Okay. This is when governor send bill for reconsideration. Okay. Another scenario is that he may reserve the bill for the consideration of president. Here House and here for the president. What kind of bills? Any bill which can create issue with the union government or which can endanger the position of state high court. Okay, all such bills should be reserved for the consideration of the president by the governor. Okay, so these are the different options one governor can avail with respect to the bill. Now, different state governments, they approached courts because of certain issues with respect to Article 200. Now, let's see those issues one by one. The first major issue is that there is no standard time frame. No time frame. Okay. And because of that, these governors, they keep on pending the bill for a long and indefinite period of time. And that is the reason why different government, they accuse governor for delaying the bill. And this is one of the reason why Kerala government approached Supreme Court. Okay. So there is no time frame. Second is that this article somewhere appear or it allows governor to reserve bill for president's consideration. Okay. So this article somewhat appears that it allows governor to reserve bill for president consideration, which is contrary to the advice provided by the state cabinet. So somewhere this is a bone of contention between state cabinet and governor. Third reason is that claim made by Tamil Nadu governor that governor is having a power to kill a bill by refusing his assent. That means once assent is withheld, then bill is end. Okay. So this is the claim made by Tamil Nadu governor, that is governor is having a power to kill a bill by refusing his assent. But this later clarified by Supreme Court of India in case State of Punjab versus Governor of Punjab. In this case, Supreme Court clarified that governor need to send the bill back to the state legislature and they can't hold bill for a very long period of time, or you can say indefinitely. And rejection by governor does not mean that bill is end or dead. Another, here Supreme Court emphasized on a term as soon as possible. This phrase is provided in Article 200. Okay. So Supreme Court emphasized that this is there in article so that governor should act promptly with respect to the bill, and they should not withhold their assent or keep delaying the bill for indefinite period of time. Okay. So these are the different concerns with respect to Article 200. Now, let's see the options president is having if any bill is reserved for his consideration by the governor. The first is he may give his assent. Just like governor, president can give his assent. He may withhold his assent. Second scenario. Third is he may direct the governor to return the bill to the house. Now, once bill is reserved for the consideration of president, this thing you should remember, that once the bill is reserved for the consideration of president, then there is no role is there of governor in the enactment of that bill. Okay. That means if bill is passed or if bill is sent to the legislature by the president for reconsideration, suppose president send the bill back to the legislature for reconsideration, right? Then in this case, this legislature, if passed the bill, then this bill should be presented again in front of president and not in front of governor. What it shows that now there is no role of governor in the enactment of the bill. Okay, that bill or reconsidered bill should be passed or should be presented in front of president and not in front of governor once bill is reserved for the president. Okay, so these are the different options available to the president, and all these options are mentioned in article 201 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, now having seen the important aspects with respect to Article 200 and 201, that is power of governor and president with respect to the assent of the bill, let's see the criticism or argue posed by Kerala government in this case. Okay. First, Kerala government argued that the act of president is highly arbitrary, because as in context also I told you that government president withhold the bill without providing any reason, okay, without disclosing any reason behind that act or that activity, and it is the violation of Article 14, 200 and 201 of the Constitution, just now we have seen. Then Kerala government, they argued that all these four bills, they are limited to the state subject, or the purpose of these bills, they fall under the domain of state government. Now, if the four bills withhold by the president, then union cabinet, they have their say, or union government will provide the advice in this case. So it is against the spirit of federalism, because all these subjects are limited to state. Then another argument which Kerala government put in front of Supreme Court is that reservation of bill by the governor after keeping it pending for 24 months is deliberate attempt to carrying out governor constitutional duty and functions against 200 of the Constitution. Firstly, governor kept this bills pending for a very long period of time, that is 24 months, and later they reserved same bills for the president consideration. So this is somewhere a deliberate attempt to not to carry out their constitutional duties mentioned in Article 200. Okay, so these are the different arguments said by the Kerala government. Now, having seen important provisions with respect to Article 200, 201, arguments said by the or proposed by the Kerala government in Supreme Court. Now the entire issue is in front of Supreme Court. So it will be interesting to see that how Apex Court deals with contentious issues with respect to Article 200 and Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Okay. Now come to our second discussion, which is based on this news article which appeared on page number 8. Now, context of this news is that External Affairs Minister Mr. Jai Shankar asserted that India is not now to overlook terrorism emanating from Pakistan, and he further emphasized that Pakistan is using it as a, as you can see here, instrument of statecraft, and terrorists are being sponsored at an industry level. Okay. Now, why we have taken it? Because as you can see here, role of external state, non-state actors in creating challenge to internal security. Important theme under GS paper 3. Also, UPSC has been asking question based on same theme. Like there was a question with respect to challenge to national security in 2017. Okay. So now let's come to our discussion. So here we will cover different aspects with respect to terrorism. So first we'll start with a definition. Terrorism is defined as calculated use of violence. Calculated use means that it is not a random activity. It is a planned and done purposefully to create general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective. Here it's important to see that unlike other violence, terrorism is inherently political in nature. Okay. Now, interesting part is that we all know terrorism is a global phenomena. Okay. And till now, we don't have any standard definition of terrorism. Why? Because our international community failed to arrive at one notion or one definition. And this ambivalence nature is because of two factors. First is that terrorist in one country is viewed as freedom fighter in another country. Okay, so different connotation with respect to terrorist. Second is that even some states, they encourage all these activities to destabilize the lawfully established government. Okay, this is the second, to destabilize lawfully established government. So because of these two factors, there is some kind of ambivalency, and that is why we don't have any standard definition of terrorism. Now let's see different types of terrorism. The first is state-sponsored terrorism. As you can see by name, terrorist activities supported by the states in the form of funding, in the form of providing shelter, providing logistic and weapons support, etc. So all these support, when all these provided by state, then that is state-sponsored terrorism. The best example of this is uh, jihadi groups sponsored by Pakistan government like Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, then Jaish-e-Mohammed, etc. So these are the example of state-sponsored terrorism. Another category or another type of terrorism is non-state actors. Here, terrorist activities, they are conducted out to influence policies at national level and international level, but they do not belong to any state, or they ally themselves to any country. So they do not ally to any country, they do not belong to any state, but often they take support of enemies countries. Okay, like ISIS. Okay, so it is an example of non-state actors. They do take support of enemy countries. Third is ideology-based terrorism. Now, these kind of terrorism, they are conducted, or you can say a deliberate attempt by the subnational to achieve their purpose. Okay, the best example is that left-wing terrorism. The example is that it is violence against ruling elite, mostly by the peasant class. See, this left-wing terrorism is based on the ideology provided by Marx, Lenin, etc. And in that ideology, they provided that any kind of social structure or social relationship in a capitalist society is exploitative in nature. Okay, and to bring out the revolutionary change or to bring out a solution, violence is essential. Okay, so this is left-wing terrorism. We have right-wing, then we have ethno-nationalist terrorism. This kind of terrorism, it basically focus on the creation of a state or elevating the position of one ethnic group over another. Example is Tamil nationalist group in Sri Lanka. Yes. Insurgency in Northeast. Yes. So these are the example of ethno-nationalist terrorism. Okay. So we have seen different kind of terrorism here. Now let's see impact of terrorism. The first and the foremost impact is economic impact. Poor level of development. Terrorism acts as a roadblock in the journey of development and progress. And this is very well seen in Jammu Kashmir state, where industrial sector is way behind if you compare with other states. So poor level of development. Second, damage to property and lives. Attacks like 9/11. So they are the reason behind cause of lots of life and property. Then somewhere all these activities force the exchequer to invest more on defense and police to ensure security of the citizens. So that is why it led to higher expenditure on defense and police. Then decline in investment. Areas affected by terrorism, they somewhere see the fall of investment because industries, they tend to avoid areas having instability. Okay, so these are the different economic impact of terrorism. Then let's see the political non-engagement of youth in politics. See, in here youth, they are attracted toward militant activities. Yes, and they sometimes become skeptical about the political process, which we can see in like lower turnout in elections. And somewhere it also raised concern or erosion of credibility of elected representatives. So this is the impact or political impact of terrorism. Another is somewhere it weakens the law and order situation in areas affected by terrorism. If you see areas affected by left-wing terrorism, to maintain or to ensure law and order there, it's quite difficult task, challenging task. So this is another concern, that it deteriorates law and order situation there. Then it disintegrate society. It caused disruption in different verticals of society, and that we can see disruption in tribal community, that they don't face harassment only from the Maoist side in left-wing extremist regions. They also face harassment by police also. So that results in disintegration of society. Okay. So these are the important impacts of terrorism: economic, political, governance, and social. Whenever there is a question with respect to the impact, try to cover different dimensions so that you can give 360 view to your answer. Okay. Now let's come to our another topic. This is based on Beima Sugam, which came in Business Line, which this article appear on page number 9. Okay. Context is that IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, approved regulation on the proposed insurance e-market, that is Beima Sugam. Okay. Now why we have taken, because there was a question based on regulatory authorities which came in year 2022. Also, it is important from the perspective of resources growth and development, which is important theme under GS paper 3. Okay. So let's see the important facts with respect to Beima Sugam. Now, let me write it here. Beima Sugam. To understand its feature, first you know what is Beima Sugam. It is an online marketplace for insurance. So it's an online marketplace for insurance. Then its purpose is, it is just like UPI. It simplifies the process of insurance by allowing direct purchase between consumer and insurer. Okay. So this portal establishes a direct connection between consumer and insurer. Okay. Now let's see the key features. It is an e-marketplace for all sorts of insurance. It encompasses all the stakeholders, whether it is the policy holders, insurance firms, agents, etc. There will be no charges to be paid by the policy holders for using this portal. Then policy holders can buy product directly from the insurance company. That's the sole purpose of this portal. And agents can use that they can ask their customers to enroll them in the portal so that they can get the benefit service of this portal. Then registration of claims can be done on the portal with the respective insurer or third-party administrator, and filing of complaints would also be facilitated via this portal. So these are the key features of Beima Sugam. Now let's see its significance. Now, as it established direct connection between consumer and the insurer, definitely it will smoothen the process. Yes, and it will be easy to settle the claims. Now, something which is which will smoothen the process or easy to settle the claims, definitely it will ensure more transparency, and it will quicken matters for customers and other stakeholders, and definitely it will cut down the cost because it will remove different physical layers that wrap up different intermediaries in the process. So costs will come down. So these are the important significance of Beima Sugam. Now come to our next topic, which is based on this article which appeared on page number 12 in the Hindu newspaper. Context is that this article dwells upon the journey of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, as he is someone who rose to power by riding anti-corruption sentiments of the public. And here he is facing the biggest trouble of his life because he was arrested by Enforcement Directorate, that is ED, in the money laundering case. So in this discussion, we will talk about probity in governance, which is very important, as you can see with the context of this news. Also, it is important from UPSC paper 4. You can see here probity in governance is mentioned. So let's have a discussion. Probity is about being honest, having strong moral compass or principle. It is like doing the right things when no one is watching. People sometimes they do the right things when someone is watching or some kind of monitoring is there. But probity is that you always do the right thing even when no one is watching. Okay, and that is why, because you have strong moral principles, and it is very important in governance perspective. You see, because leaders with having this value, then definitely they will not cheat, they will not lie, they will serve the people, they will work for the people's benefit, and that is why government can be fairer, honest, and ethical if our leaders are good in this aspect. Okay, let's understand this with the help of example. Gandhiji, you can quote this answer example in your answer also. Gandhiji wrote a wrong spelling in his test, so his teacher suggested him to copy the correct one from a fellow student. Now here, literally he had a chance of copying the right definition without providing any kind of justification to teacher, because teacher himself suggested him to copy the correct definition, but he refused. This shows sense of probity. Okay, now let's see one example to make you understand probity in governance. You must have heard about this bill, that is Office of Profit Bill 2006. So APJ Abdul Kalam, he was president when this bill was presented in front of him. Despite being government-backed bill and political pressure, he scrutinized this bill and thoroughly and refused to give his assent. What it shows? It shows probity in governance. As I told you, if our leaders they use this as a kind of rule book that don't cheat or lie or serve for the people, then definitely our government will be more ethical, more honest, and more fair. Now let's see different principles of public services, golden principles for anyone who is public, who is working in public service. First is selflessness, that decision should be taken which is for everyone and not for personal gain. So there should be a clear distinction between personal gain and benefit for everyone. Second, integrity, doing the right thing all the time. Then we have honesty, that quality of being truthful and sincere. See, there is a distinction between integrity and honesty. If any candidate is there, suppose X candidate, he is doing any kind of unethical activity, or he is into some kind of unethical activity, but immediately he accept his fault and he apologized, then that candidate is honest in his approach. Okay. But in another scenario, if this ex candidate refused to entertain any kind of unethical practices, then he is holding integrity. Okay. Then you can say a person of integrity. Okay. That means doing right thing all the time. Objectivity is another principle, to make fair decision based on facts and not based on emotions. Then accountability, be ready to take the onus of your action. Okay. Then openness, be transparent, and you should be clear about why you are taking such step, what you are doing, why you are doing. Okay. So this why and what aspect should be clear in your mind. So these are the important rules, or you can say golden rules, for any working in public service. Now, what are the challenges associated with uh, to practice probity in real life? The first is lack of will. Okay, you can characterize challenges in two headings, internal and external. First is lack of will. Second, to achieve something in a short duration or as soon as possible. So sometimes this inspires someone to take shortcuts. Okay. Then external factors like rampant corruption, lack of transparency. Just now we have seen openness, or be transparent, is one of the seventh golden principle for anyone who is working in public service. So lack of transparency in governance apparatus is another external factor or challenge in practicing probity in real life. Okay. Now you know, in crux, probity is always trying to do the right thing. Okay. So if our leaders they operate with probity, definitely it will be it will lead to have, or we can, it will earn the trust of the public. If our governor, if our leaders, they operate with probity, definitely it will earn them people's trust, and it will lead to fairer society. Yes. So that's all about probity. Now our next topic, the next discussion is based on this news article which appeared on page 1 in the business line. Context is that India surpassed the milestone of producing 1 billion ton of coal and lignite. Okay. Why we have taken? Because distribution of key natural resources is important theme in GS paper 1, and there was a question based on Indian coal which came in year 2013. So let's see important facts with respect to coal. Before that, let's see what is coal. Coal is readily, that means easily combustible, black or brownish, sedimentary rock, predominantly made up of carbon. Okay. Sedimentary rocks form through a process of weathering, erosion, lithification, deposition, etc. Okay. So coal is readily combustible and it is made up from sedimentary rock. Okay. Now let's see extent of India's dependence on coal. As you can see here, India is the world's second largest producer and consumer. Who is the first largest? Write down in the comment box. Okay. And according to International Energy Agency, Coal Report 2021, India's coal consumption will increase at an average annual rate of 3.9%. Okay. Let's see the major use of coal. First, this quite useful in power generation in thermal power plant. See, coal is used to heat water, which will provide steam to drive turbine to produce electricity. That is thermal power plant. Then useful in steel production with the help of coking coal. This is another version of coal, and it is quite essential to make steel. It is used as a reducing agent here. Reducing agent means it will convert iron ore into crude ore, and that will be used to get steel. Then we have synthetic fuel by gasification. Coal gasification is coal will be converted into syngas. This we have covered in our discussion. So write the composition of syngas in the comment box. It's a revision for you. Then coal liquefaction, that is coal will be converted into liquid hydrocarbon to make synthetic fuel, synthetic chemicals and etc. Then in alumina refineries, coal will be used to convert bauxite into alumina. Then in paper manufacturing industry, pharmaceutical industry, etc. So these are the different use of coal. Let's see types of coal and their distribution. The first and the highest grade of coal is anthracite. Okay, it contains a very high percentage of fixed carbon. It is hard, brittle, black and lustrous. And it is found like in small quantity in regions of Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the main issue we are facing from coal sector, that the supreme quality of coal or the supreme high grade coal, it's like small in quantity in India, that too in regions of Jammu and Kashmir. Then second category is bituminous coal. It is medium grade and having good heating capacity. It is mostly used type of coal to produce electricity in India, and it is found in Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Then we have subbituminous. Then we have lignite. It is the lowest grade. If you compare with respect to the anthracite and bituminous, it is the lowest grade coal with least carbon content, and it is found in regions of Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Jammu Kashmir. So if there is any question to arrange different coal with respect to their carbon content, then the first will be anthracite, second will be bituminous and the last will be lignite. Okay, but if you talk about the efficiency wise, then definitely anthracite is the top. So this is all about coal. Now come to our next topic, which is based on this news article which appeared on page number 11 in the Hindu newspaper. Context is that Election Commission has extended its vote from home facility to persons with disability and senior citizens above 85, age 85 and above for the Lok Sabha elections. Okay. So now why we have taken, because election is important theme. There was a question with respect to election to the Lok Sabha in year 2017. So let's quickly see what is vote from home facility as provided by Election Commission. See, this facility will be available, as I told you, to senior citizens aged 85 or above and people with disability. Now, this disability should not be less than 40 of the specified disability as certified by the concerned authority. So, it should not be less than 40. Now, anyone who opted for this facility, that is vote from home, they can't go and vote directly at the polling station on the polling day. So either they can avail this facility or they should go to the polling station on the polling day. Okay. And people with blindness or physical infirmity, they can nominate a companion and take their assistance while home voting. So these are the different eligibility criteria set for vote from home facility, to avail vote from home facility. Now how to opt? You can opt by submitting form 12D, which is available on the ECI website, and this form need to be submitted to assuming, or you can say assistant returning officer, by declaring inability to vote on booth. Now let's see the challenge associated with this form D or with this concept. Here they allowed on one side they ask you to avail this facility and vote from home. Okay. On the other side, they asked to submit this form physically, okay, which defeat the purpose. So there is a like to make process of submission of online 12D online. So experts suggesting that you should make this process online. Then again, another issue is that there is a need of massive level of awareness generation so that polling officers, they can entertain the doubts of the electorates. Another task is managing or handling or scheduling such a massive vote from home request, which will create a logistic issue also. So manage all these things will be a daunting task for the ECI. So these are the challenges which ECI need to face for this vote from home facility. Now come to our last topic, which is based on this news article which appeared on page number 8 in the Hindu newspaper. Context is that Indian Navy has handed over 35 pirates to Mumbai police for the prosecution, and this was done, this operation was done under the code name of Operation Sankalp. Okay, so this was done under the operation called as Operation Sankalp. Now, it is important because security challenges, various security forces and agencies, their mandate is important theme under GS paper 3. Also, UPSC has been asking question based on locations. This question came in year 2022. So here we have, let's see the details about Operation Sankalp. The purpose is that since the inception of Israel and Hamas conflict and attacked by Houthi rebels, Indian Navy, they launched this operation to protect its important sea line communication like Gulf of Aden, like Arabian Sea, and off east coast of Somalia. So here we should see the important location. Also, this is not something new. In 2019 also, Navy launched this operation to secure Gulf region. So Navy launched this operation in Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman to assure the safety and security of Indian vessels. So let's see. First is Gulf of Oman. As you can see here, it is a connection between Red Sea and Arabian Sea. Okay. Then we have another. As you can see, Gulf of Oman, that connects Strait of Hormuz, that runs to the Persian Gulf. So these are the important locations which you should keep in your mind. And this is all about Operation Sankalp. If you have any doubt, please drop your doubt in our comment box. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates. Thank you.